Starting out in the garage, this is a very nondescript entrance into my train room slash Japanese themed Izakaya bar. Still under construction. It's really more about the scenery and the feel of being in Japan while we can't go to Japan than what it is about the trains, although that's a very big part of it as well. I've got a collection of beers that I've bought either from import stores or interesting bottles like the Sapporo back from Japan. It's an old Sapporo can. An old Panasonic transistor radio. Some micro blocks. And then, well, this is the newest part that I've done the last couple of days. It's still not quite finished, but just another little bar area to sit at. You get a good view from here. You can't really eat here, but you can put your drink down. You get a good view of what's going on around the room. So it all started with the trains. All my Kato kits plus the one Tomix. It's a 300 series Shinkansen, which Kato never made. Some older boxes there too. I'll pull that out. That train's now in one of these other kits because I've bought some add-on carriages and a spare box. Catalogues. Some gift bags for beers that I got from a Don Quixote store. Bunch of paraphernalia. So this is stuff that I've collected over 10 years of going to Japan. You know, things like Shinkansen slippers, and it's a Christmas brochure. Can't remember what year that is. It's from Shinasaka Station. We'll go through that later on. On this wall, I don't know how we're going to see this. Maybe if we bump up the... It's all stuff from train museums, Japan Railways. We can all have a video that goes through all this stuff. This is some menus and bits and pieces from the Kirin Brewery. Some stuff in yellow. In this section, obviously, you haven't done anything there. There's no landscaping or anything. And then some other stuff up there. I just selected some things out of my collection to go on there. It's supposed to look like an advertising wall, really. So there's the trains. This is the exciting part, I guess, for a lot of people. Now we're only just up to doing the landscaping now. It's coming along. It's taken me 11 years to get all the tracks sorted from the purchase of my first train, that is. What I did in 2010 is I bought a Mikado kit and just a section of viaduct track so that I can keep it on display. Just I love this bit. And then after that, it sort of snowballed as it usually does. So the trains take quite a bit of time to get through. I think it takes about three and a half minutes if we're running at a reasonable speed. This is pretty fast. I think it looks fantastic. It goes through that tunnel there. We'll come out here. This is already mountains. Mountains, not mounted. And that'll come back out onto the vine. Past my Asahi building. I just sort of took that off a box of beers and cut the backing off it. And that goes into that tunnel there, into the bar area, underneath the, this is where we'll mix the drinks once it's done. I'll turn the lights on there soon. Then back out on the third track. Into that tunnel there, and then I'll just turn the focus onto there. It's going to, and back out. And then it does the second loop, comes back out onto this first track, goes through past the rail yard up to the ramp. It's fantastic. I love it. So I love rail yards. I love the Shinkansen rail yard that's sort of near Kyoto, between Kyoto and Shinosaka. So this is meant to be a really scaled down version of that. Just somewhere where I can store my trains. So I've got the two 700s and N700 Dr. Yellow, H5, the E7, E6, 100 series, 300 series, 500 series, 0 series, and E4, E2. I think, what am I missing? The 200 series. I've got that there. And then there's a bunch of other trains. So the idea was to, people see this kind of design quite a bit in Japanese bars and restaurants. So I just took that. It's the easiest way to do it. So the timber I've used is basically 19 by 40 mil pine, and that's for everything basically underneath. So what's on top is all hardwood in different sizes, underneath pine. So the same over here, pine underneath, framed in underneath with pine, and then hardwood. And I think that makes for a good mix between looks, colour, and of course the price inside of things. Same as underneath here. Now none of this is finished. I've still got a long way to go with the wiring, mind you. Pine underneath, all shelving's pine, On the top, hardwood. These are quite big pieces. It's quite expensive, but I think it just looks fantastic. Um, so, and the bar room, I'll turn the light on. That's probably got the least amount of work done to it so far. I haven't even done a ceiling in there, just plastering up. That little bar fridge there. This is where we can mix drinks up. We'll put a, here's an old beer tap that came with the house, and I bought that a couple of years ago. But we'll put a tap in there. Not that one. That bar top hasn't been made yet, but that's where the microwave will go. We'll have an air fryer there as well. So just so we can prepare basic food. I was going to put a tap in here, but in the garage I do have a tap and hot and cold water, and you know, I don't have the space. Plus, I've got all the loops down under there. So I think it's coming along quite nicely. So you can run 2 trains on this at the moment. I mean, the track's long enough that you can run 3. It's only set up for DC at the second, but it's getting wide for DCC. And I'm new to all this, so I've never built a railway before. So, um, so you can have the lights off. I don't know how well this is going to show up on the camera, but that's how it's meant to look. It's a lot brighter than it looks through the viewfinder here, but I mean, it's certainly bright enough that I can sit down and enjoy myself. All the lights, all the LED strips are on a remote, except for the green one. That's Wi-Fi enabled. I like the orange. I think it warms up the room. But this is just a 60-metre length of Christmas lights that I've just put up today. I'd probably swap those for just white ones. I'm not sure. You guys can let me know. But yeah, I think it looks fantastic when you walk in. So yeah, I've got to order Mod Podge and sculpt it and that kind of stuff and start working on that. I got given a static grass duva for Christmas, so I'm looking forward to giving that a go. But yeah, basically I'll just work in sections, like the mountain, through the village. I've got more buildings to order, more structures to order. I really want to get this looking not realistic in terms of, you know, the guys that do it real serious, but I want it to look real enough that you can sit here and enjoy it and go, oh geez, it looks good, rather than it looks like a toy. And along the edge we'll put some perspex or glass here, just so we don't spill drinks onto the trains. So that should be as high as the bar. So there's a reason why it's built the way it's all built. Different levels. There's a concrete slab under this section, and then there's another one in that black bit under the shelves. Then that's the foundations on behind that black wall of the house. There is the foundations of the house, and then there's half a slab and dirt behind there. So yeah, I've built the low section for as big as I could while making it square, and then I've kept the taller section as low as I could. But basically, if you're 6 foot, you're near going to hit the roof. It is shoji screen at the back. That was my first time doing it. Some of it's a bit crinkly. But I bought the roll back from Japan on my last trip there in 2020. Yeah, I did get to go overseas in 2020. I know a lot of people didn't. But that was a story in itself, having to, it doesn't fit into luggage, so I had to carry it on the plane, and we stopped at the Philippines for a few hours, and here I am lugging this shoji screen around. But yeah, look, that's basically it. I'm building it as I would be building a real bar. I'm not a carpenter by any means. I can stuff up bits and pieces here, but I'll sand it all down and it'll look fine, like this. Basically, what I want it to be is like a Japanese izakaya, like a small one that you walk in at this end in a real one and squeeze past people at the bar, and the guy would serve you on this side, except I flipped it where you get served at this end and the trains are where the guy would be serving you. So it's a bit bigger, but I've got the space and I'm not paying the lease in Tokyo. So yeah, that'll have 5 seats there. I don't know, like 3 and 2 maybe, because this is going to be a shelf going across this wall. I need some neon sort of signage for in that area.